Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today, we're revising Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and I'm going to teach you how to write any essay. Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are plenty of things on the channel to help you understand Lord of the Flies. Okay, let's learn how to write any essay. We're going to start by thinking about what it is you need to know to be successful in the exam. You need to know what happens in the novel. Check out the playlist if you want some revision and you want to understand everything that happens in each chapter. You need to be able to recall about 20 to 30 key quotes without looking. Here's an example of one. Piggy says, "Life is scientific," in the early part of the novel. And you also need to know how to structure your essay, which is why you're here today. So let's think about what you're going to be asked. You will get a choice of two questions. Typical example is, how is Lord of the Flies a novel about leadership? You just look for the key word. In this question, it's leadership. And then you need to pick a range of key moments in the novel where it features. Pick only one question. It doesn't matter how successful your school is. There's ordinarily somebody who comes out having answered both, and you simply won't get marks for answering both questions. You're cutting your time in half. One of them will be awarded and the other will not. So make sure you choose one question only. Possible keywords for that essay. Here are key characters. We've got Ralph, Piggy, Jack, Simon and Roger. They are likely candidates to be the focus of an essay question. And then we have themes. Here is an extensive list. Your essay question for your exam could well be in front of you now, that keyword. Together they look relatively overwhelming, but you don't need to be afraid. If you actually think about what we've got in front of us, we've got the key characters. And if we know the story, we know their stories. If we're asked about evil, we can be talking about cruelty and people's intentions and violence. If we're talking about power, that relates to rules and teamwork and leadership. Friendships and trust and respect, they're all very closely linked in that list. And innocence, childhood, fears, superstitions, they're all related to growing up. So in all honesty, whilst that list together looks a little bit fretful, you only need to understand that if we understand the key characters and the story, and that this is a novel about evil, power, friendships and growing up, we are well on our way to being able to write a really interesting essay about the text. We need to know 25 key quotes by heart. Here's another example of a key quote. They'll send a ship, perhaps Daddy's ship. In fact, the phrase Daddy's ship alone is a great quote and probably all you'd need to be able to really say some great things about Ralph or themes in the text. So here's a big list of different themes and of course Ralph there. This quote can be linked to any of those. At this point, he's not very grown up. His friendships ultimately fail because of his idealism. He's not a great leader because he's giving people false hope at this point. So we can link this quote and this idea of Daddy's ship to all of these different ideas. We just need to make sure that the point we're making is using that key quote in turn. So let's think about leadership now, and I'm going to model a PEA paragraph for you. So we're going to start with our point. Here's a point. In the first part of the novel, Ralph seems oblivious to the huge challenges ahead of him as a leader. He's a bit idealistic and doesn't realise the danger that the islanders are in. And here's that quote. Ralph says, "They'll send a ship, perhaps Daddy's ship." And here's my analysis. Here Ralph gives the islanders false hope that the reader perceives because of the use of daddy that serves to infantilise him here. He says daddy, it makes him seem childish, and we all know that he's going to fail as a leader. His innocence and idealism will fail, and that will give rise to Jack's later dominance of the island. So there's my point, there's my evidence, and there's the analysis. We've got to say something about that and what it means in relation to the question. So let's think about how we actually structure this essay as an entire text. You're going to start with an introductory paragraph. I'll help you with that in a moment. Then you're going to think about those significant moments from memory. I gave you one example in the time you've got, and it's about 45 minutes in that exam. You need to be able to explore as many different key significant moments as you can. And if you finish that, you might want to write a paragraph about what we learn from the keyword and the novel to wrap it up. So let's think about that introductory paragraph. I'm going to teach you one now that you can take forward and use in any essay. So explain that Golding experienced the dark side of humanity in his experience of war. He went to World War II as a naval officer, so that was an experience in his life that motivated him as a writer and influenced the writing that he was responsible for. Explain that the novel is about the duality of human nature, that idea that good and evil coexist in us all. So that's what the novel is really about. And then link this concept to the theme of the question. This is a great paragraph for you to be using as an introduction because it's applying a concept to the text, and that's top band. Here is an introductory paragraph for you. So there's a model response and an example for you to replicate. William Golding's experiences of World War II as a naval officer influenced him as a writer. So I've just explained to my readers that he went to World War II and his experiences influenced his writing. In Lord of the Flies, Golding explores the idea that evil lurks below the surface of us all. The duality of human nature is the reason that things fall apart on the island and the reason that Ralph loses his power and leadership to Jack. and the reason the island descends into madness, violence and fear. So that's a paragraph there that I would just open with, and after that is PEA until I want to conclude. And the reason why this is a great paragraph is because if we have a little look, we've got evil mentioned, human nature, power, leadership, madness, violence, fear. I've actually got a range of different keywords, and I could use any synonym that might turn up in the exam in order to make that fit to the question that I'm being asked. Here are a list of those possible keywords for your essay now. So you've got a wide range of keywords. All you need to do if you want to write your own essay is choose one. Think about what key moments you'd be using. So you might want to think about which 6 or 7 key moments you might want to really explore in your essay. Write that introduction and then use PEA all the way to explore those key moments before then writing your own conclusion. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask something you'd like to see me cover in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.